Hello, I'm David, this is Hobby Jackal, and I'm going to be checking out White Dwarf 481 for the bounty of Warcry goodness it contains, helping you decide if you want to pick this one up and the glorious 3 articles for our favourite skirmish game. Let's go check it out. So welcome to White Dwarf 481. Now in my last video I was excited about Warcry and I gave 3 key things from the Warcry article they included. And one of those 3 things was that I was really excited that this would be a recurring article that was going to appear in the magazine. In this video I'm just going to focus on the Warcry side of things, really just to sort of say if you're into Warcry this is why you might want to pick up this magazine. But you know, there's shed loads of hobby stuff in here, and as I've sort of said before, Warcry is really on a great roll here. They are as good as they've ever been at the moment. So anyway, here we go. Here's the Warcry article, or rather there's 3 articles. So we've got Fantastic Warhost Glory Hunters, which is a colossal gallery of stunningly painted Warcry warbands. We've got the Legionnaires of the Warcry Creed, which is a fantastic article if you're a fan of the newish Chaos Legionnaires for Warcry. And finally, a peek behind the curtains, we get to hear directly from the miniatures designers that created the Rotmire Creed, the Horns of Hashut, and the Heart of Ghur scenery. Let's take a look. Oh, wait a minute, let's just hold the phone there a sec. There is a squig cake. Look at that! Right, back to business. Right, so Glory Hunters is an article which goes through some warbands shared by fans or from the staff at Games Workshop. They do start with an article introduction which is just very much around gathering a warband and thinking about the background. So anybody that's picked up previous Warcry supplements will be quite familiar with this, as the books often come with tables and suggestions for adding a background and additional character to your warbands. And here they do give some examples for some of the classic warbands that have been released for the first season of Warcry. But now we're on to the particularly exciting bit, checking out some other people's warbands. Now I'm just going to pick a few here because I don't really want to spoil the magazine for people that want to pick it up. And additionally the team have done amazing work here, so you know, if people are wanting to read this, seriously pick up a copy. However, here's my 3 top favourites from all of this, so I can't pick one. This is a Chris Peach page, also known as Peachy, and now appearing on the Painting Phase YouTube channel, so I'd recommend checking that one out. And you can also find him on Instagram at Peachy Tips. So all 4 of these warbands are Chris Peach's, and his modelling style is notable for endlessly imaginative conversions. And he's also been leaning more and more into the sort of skirmishy games, so if you're a fan of Necromunda as well, then he's got plenty of stuff on his hobby accounts for you. So choosing a particular favourite here, I think actually it's kind of this warband here, this Cities of Sigmar K-Knight warband, which has a kind of high elf look to it, and it's been stylised around the city of Hallowguild, which is a homebrew city created by Peachy. I particularly like this one here. So next we can see more of the same, plenty of amazing looking warbands, and I think I was trying to narrow it down to 3, which is really hard, but basically I just want to show you a few in detail, and then, you know, if you want to see more, you can pick up the magazine. Second one's got to be these Cypher Lords in this kind of amazing jade colour. I think they look fantastic in this style. These are by Steve Wren. He's achieved the dark green rose by using Incubi Darkness, a wash of Nuln oil, a layer of Sotek green, and a highlight of Temple Guard green. Now I'm skimming over some amazing stuff here, but I think I'm going to end on these amazing looking lizard men, which do take us into the next box of Warcry really nicely. And these are by Steve Party, and he's using Blood Bowl kits as the base of some of these conversions, and also these bizarre looking fellas on the side, which use Cold One bodies, Ripidactyl heads, and Raptorix wings. Towards the end of the article we do get a fantastic board made by Mark Bedford. Now these are familiar. Mark Bedford's been a staple in the Games Workshop team for quite a long time. So he was previously a sculptor, then he moved to Forge World for probably about a decade or so. And he's very active on the online hobby scene, sharing his projects, which are generally some absolutely amazing boards. And here's a fantastic one for Warcry. Now this has been achieved on an MDF board using layers of cork over the top. And in this article he does go into a little bit more detail as to how he's done some of these things, although it's not a step-by-step guide if that's what you're after. Finally, for this article we end up with some painting tutorials for the Gnarlwood, including novel ways to paint your gnarloaks, including this purple colour scheme and a red colour scheme to make bloody looking trees. So now we're on to perhaps the most exciting of this trio of articles. Actually no, that's hard to call. I really like the models and hearing from the designers. Well anyway, here we are on the fluffiest article, Legionnaires of the Warcry Creed. Now if you are a fan of the Chaos Legionnaires or Belakor, then this is the article for you. It provides you with the background for the warband, but it also does provide some rules. And reading more about them has actually made me like the Legionnaires even more. And they're kind of this sub-cult within Chaos encampments, almost going from door to door saying, have you heard the dark word of our master? Luring people into their sort of sneaky cult on the side, and luring them away from Archaon, who they believe to be a pretender. And that's something I'm with Belakor on this one. I like Belakor's style. So you get 3 quests specific to the Chaos Legionnaires, with this one being a comparatively quick one where you get an artifact of power at the end, which you can achieve by winning roll-offs and seizing the initiative a certain number of times, and a slightly longer quest where you're working on impressing other warbands and leading them to join your legion. You need to earn up to 5 convert points, which you earn if you get 6 or more glory after a battle, or you spend 3 or more glory to add a fighter to your warband. This will give you something slightly more exciting, a heroic trait for one of your heroes. So the 3rd quest, Making the Cut, and this is to earn a brand new encampment location by taking down fighters with 10 or more wounds, and then embarking on a specific quest battle plan, Bleak Offerings. And that's not all! It ends on a traditional Warcry background table, giving the opportunity to easily name all your fighters, come up with an origin for them, and a leader background. Perhaps your warriors are serving Belakor as secretive assassins, and your leader was a competent spy master, assembling a network of hidden agents. Finally, we're on to the Heart of Ghur designer's notes, taking a look at the 2 warbands and the scenery included in the Heart of Ghur box set. First we hear from Maxime Pastorel, who talks through a fan favourite, the Rotmire Creed, and the rationale behind their aesthetics and armour. We learn the black wood is called bilewood and the bamboo type stuff is called marshwood, and how much more sneaky Nurgly imagery made it into these models than I'd realised the first time around, including this overtly Nurgle symbol on the back of the Witherlord. They just really don't know who they're following. Then we hear from Ali Morrison, a staple of the Games Workshop fold for a long old time. Ali talks about the models not possessing a specific martial skill, but instead preferring a brutal, violent, headstrong style of fighting that carries across all of the models. You can see this across their bludgeoning weapons and practical militaristic style armour, which is replicated across each of them. He also does note that the Flame Hurler, which is a favourite for people who are playing the game as these guys, is a bag of flammable gas. It's played very much like a set of bagpipes. Love it. Of course, there's much more detail here which I'm not covering, but you can learn a lot more if you do want to pick up this mag. Finally, we hear from Ray Dranfield, who created the Gnarlwood scenery, with the first thing they considered specifically was the flora, the carnivorous gnarlwoods and the bamboo-like marshwood. They really wanted to evoke a sense of tree and beast in the same model, and this is where the muscle-like structure on the trees came about. They know the challenges of designing scenery are that it has to create an evocative backdrop for your games, but also be durable enough to survive the rigours of battle and be played over. It's a delicate balance to get it right and also include enough areas for your models to climb over and stand on. And I think they've done a great job on that front, because it is actually surprisingly sturdy, especially given the way these bamboo platforms look. And I love the way the bridges kind of convey that movement and the sloping in the middle. Finally, he does go into a little more detail on each of the pieces, including the sheer size of the beast that may have made this watchtower possible, and the wee little gnarloaks taking over areas of the Gnarlwood which were previously covered in the shattered remains of Talaxis, or the Eye of Chotek, known by the Seraphon. And that's all we have for Warcry in this edition. I say all we have, that's bloody loads. And again, for Warcry adjacent content, there's loads in here as well. So Age of Sigmar continues the great Stomp, Flashpoint and Rondel. And of course there's a great Halloween edition here where you can picture Age of Sigmar armies against hordes of the living dead. And I did like the classic piece of artwork popping up, which was on the original multi-part zombie kit here. Right, well that's it for now. If this video has been of any use to you, or you'd like to see something different next time I tackle one of these magazines, please do let me know. And when the next one comes around, I'll be doing the same thing with the Warcry content. So yeah, thank you again for watching. Let me know in the comments if you've got any questions, and yeah, cheers.